Hi YouTube, it's Mama Doe Dawn. I'm going to change my channel name from Dawn's Little Fawns to This Little Golden Fam because fawns implies that I have more than one kiddo, and I think it confuses a lot of people because I only have Charlotte with me right now. I do have like past foster kiddos that I still consider my kids. They're my kids by heart, but I think it's just kind of a confusing title, so I'm just gonna change that to our last name, This Little Golden Fam. I've really struggled with the debate on whether or not to make this video, and it's pretty hard for me to sit down and talk about this topic because if you can't tell by the title, I'm going to talk about being depressed for about a year straight. And as a mom, I think there's a huge stigma about any kind of mental illness or mental health issue. A lot of people feel like you can't be a good parent if you're struggling with something like that yourself, and we'll get into that more. I mean, there are things that fall to the wayside when you're struggling with a mental health issue. Oh my gosh, like I can barely talk. I'm so nervous about it. I just don't want people to think that in any way Charlotte was less of a priority in my life, because that wasn't the case at all. I tried really hard to maintain a stable schedule with her and to make sure that she got all of like the things that she deserved and she was completely cared for. I feel like this is like such a difficult video to make, and I'm just stumbling over my words because I'm so nervous about what people are going to think of me as a single mom being depressed. But in order to understand my absence over pretty much the entire last year, I think that I really need to explain why I wasn't making videos. And also, if you're going to understand my current situation, you have to know everything that happened over the last 12 months. So in my last video, I talked about how my financial situation had gotten really bad. And for 2020, all I wanted to do this year was to have a year of peace to just relax and focus on Charlotte, myself, and healing. And it was like in those cartoons when the character's like, it can't possibly get any worse, and then it starts to rain. So first, let's go back in case you didn't see my last video and talk about what happened pretty much from April, May of 2019 to Christmas. Everything started, like my entire downfall started when Charlotte's dad came for a visitation. He usually only comes for visitation about 4 times a year. He lives far away from Charlotte, and I try to make these like really special, important events for my kiddo. We ended up getting in a huge argument that resulted in him saying some things that I thought were extremely hurtful and unnecessary and geared towards the parenting of our daughter. I'm not going to delve too deeply into it because since then he's apologized and we've moved on, and we actually have a pretty healthy co-parenting relationship at the moment, and I hope it stays that way. But that was just a year after our divorce. I just made moon sand. I'm pretty sure my kid is back there like choking on the moon sand right now. It's just made out of flour that I baked and vegetable oil, so it's not like gonna kill her. But if you hear my kid coughing, she's shoving moon sand in her mouth. So anyways, I got in a fight with her dad, and that just kind of started a downfall because I started spending money, which is how I make myself feel better. And that was like a month of me just being really angry at him and kind of irresponsibly spending money. Then in walks this guy who I'd been friends with for about a year and a half at that point. We were kind of divorce buddies. We'd gone through our divorces together. He was a single dad. We'd been good friends, and he just kind of started pursuing me, and I fell for it. It was at a really weak moment in my life when I was so upset with Charlotte's dad. This guy walked in. He's an amazing father to his 2 little girls. Immediately, Charlotte's like in love with him. I'm falling super hard for him, and things moved really quickly. I ended up moving in with him. Part of that was because one day I let him borrow my car to drive it to work, and he totaled it by hitting a deer, which cost me $2,000 in a deductible. But the screwy part is, my car was totaled on the side of the road, and someone came in and then broke into it. There was a second police report, and because of that, a second deductible was filed. Like, one was for like a deer, natural causes or whatever, and the other one was for theft. So then I had a $4,000 deductible for my car that was getting totaled. When I moved in with this new guy, my boyfriend, I thought that I had paid out everything on my lease, and that's what I've been told. I had emails to prove that, and yet I started getting billed for like 3 months after that of my full rent, which was $1,000. So that's $3,000 more dollars that was being withdrawn out of my account. I made countless phone calls, talked to like every member of the leasing office that I possibly could. I ended up only getting $750 back because they said that I didn't read my lease correctly, even though I had emails from a lady stating that I had like completed my payments. So frustrating. So that was like another $2,000 out of my account. Then in comes this emergency medical bill for Charlotte from a year prior when she had been in the ER during Christmas in Kentucky with her paternal side of the family. $2,000. And for some reason, my insurance wasn't covering it. On top of that, every little small thing you could think of, I got a tolls bill for like $400 from an SUV that I had in like 2016, 2017, so like 3 years ago, a toll in Texas. I don't remember driving through this toll. I'm sure that I did, but I ended up having to pay that. At this point, everything has been drained out of my emergency fund, which I followed the Dave Ramsey plan for. I had $1,000 in there, plus I was adding $100 each month. I had about $2,000 in there at that time. That was drained. I then started putting things on credit, and I took out a personal loan for $15,000 to kind of just help me get by, help me continue to push things inventory-wise into my business to make sure that that was still bringing in income. And I was also using this money to kind of help sustain my new boyfriend's life. He had got raked through the coals pretty hard in his divorce. He owed a bunch of money, and he owed a lot in child support, about 50% of his income. So I kind of took up the task of buying birthday presents for both of his girls. I bought Christmas presents. I took us to the zoo. I did all the little fun things, and it was on my checkbook. Now, honestly, the reason that I did this is that I loved his girls. I still love his girls. They are so sweet. They were amazing older sister type kids to my daughter, Charlotte. It's like I had such a close relationship with them. I wanted them to have really good things, and because of the divorce, both their mom and dad were really struggling to get them nice things, nice birthday parties and stuff like that. So I felt like it was kind of my responsibility to pick that up, at least for this year when things are really tough for both sides of their family. So by Christmas, I had accumulated probably about $20,000 of debt since moving in with this boyfriend of mine. And if you guys have watched me previously, you know that I was working really hard at paying off my debt. It's something that I really prided myself on. It was a goal that I had set for myself that I was working, and that was like my main thing. That's what I was doing, is paying off debt, living like this bare bones lifestyle to pay off debt. And this new relationship had brought in so much debt that it caused me a lot of stress. Now, during this time, I had also been dealing with some issues with this new boyfriend. He was/is amazing. Like the epitome of perfect boyfriend. Loving, caring, patient, kind, never raises his voice, is more than amazing to Charlotte and his girls. Just like a dad who is truly in the moment with kids. Just amazing. His ex-wife, on the other hand, had a lot of baggage that she brought into the relationship. The second that I moved in, it's like her world started crashing, and she was going to do everything in her power to make sure that we weren't going to stay together. It started out with her just trying to get his attention, saying that she needed to move back in with him. She was losing everything, yada, yada, yada. So he was feeling really bad and responsible for making sure that his girls had a good life with her, even though he wasn't with her anymore. So we had like this weird dynamic of him wanting to be there for his ex-wife because she is the mom of his kids, and trying to pursue this new relationship with me, who had now moved in with him and was living there while this was going on. We kind of got past that, and then she started using her daughters as pawns to come between the relationship of he and I. Just like little manipulative things. I don't want to get into that too much because I don't really feel like that's my story to tell, and I don't want to, if someday his daughters like found these videos, talk badly about their mom in that sense. But it definitely took a toll on the relationship. And I started to get extremely depressed because I felt like I was coming between his relationship with his girls and him. And that is like the last thing that I wanted to do. I loved his girls and I loved him, and I wanted their relationship to be really healthy and solid. And I felt like Charlotte and I were now impacting that. Even so, I stayed through Christmas. Christmas was absolutely awful. She decided to start a bunch of drama that day The mom did, and she used me in that drama and Charlotte, and it was awful. And Christmas is a really important time for me. All holidays are. I had amazing holidays as a kid. It's important for me that Charlotte, any kiddos in my home, have great holidays. So the fact that Christmas was completely ruined really just stuck with me. As in, like, is this the relationship that I want to pursue forever? Am I going to have to deal with this until his girls are 18 years old, which was like 13 more years? And the answer was kind of no, but I wasn't really willing to admit that yet because the guy himself was so amazing and so kind and exactly everything that I had like prayed that Charlotte's bio dad would be, this guy was. So I wasn't really willing to give it up, but I ended up getting a rental house separate from him where I could have my business. Have my business is what I told everyone, but essentially it was a place where I could go and detox during the day, away from all of the drama that was going on at home, and then hopefully come back in a better state of mind and pursue the relationship in a healthier manner. At this point, my business had like really gone to crap because I was so depressed. I was sleeping a lot of the time. I was focusing on the drama that was going on at home instead of, you know, making money or paying off debt. And I'd accumulated so much debt that I felt this extreme heavy weight, just anxiety. I've never been the type of person to have anxiety in my life, but the amount of debt and the amount of stress that was going on around me was causing me a ton of anxiety. And when I get anxiety, it's like a paralyzing, I can't do anything but think about this thing that's bothering me anxiety. So that all started to catch up on me in January when I realized, like, I have to get my business back on track. And I ended up getting sick and Charlotte got sick. So Charlotte got RSV for an entire week where I pretty much had to like monitor her, make sure that she wasn't having like chest compressions or anything like that. It was crazy and really stressful. Then I got RSV and that totally knocked me out for a week. Then I got influenza A, which knocked me out for like another week and a half, so badly that I could like not even get out of bed. I regret not getting my vaccine for that, but this isn't a channel about vaccines or anything super controversial about that, so we'll just move on.
Off.
You need your pajamas off?
Yes.
You're just gonna walk around the video with just your underwear on?
Off.
Okay. So as you can see, Charlotte's grown. I actually have a few videos that I need to publish just of little things that I had done with her that I really wanted to post on YouTube, but it was just a really weird time because I was going through so much and I didn't know if I just wanted to post these random videos of like her birthday party and things like that with no real explanation as to why I hadn't been around other than that. So I ended up not posting them, but I am going to edit them and post them soon. So throughout the month of January, I didn't work at all, which ended up accumulating more debt, basically through credit just to pay my bills. So now I'm sitting on a ton of debt. Oh, also, another debt that I like got into, like 2 more debts. One, I had to go out and lease a new car because my car got totaled, so now I have a whole new car. Tried to find a used car, and every single used car that I looked at literally had so many problems. The mechanics were like, you should not get this. So I couldn't find a used car, really needed a car, ended up getting a car lease. Also, I lost my phone, and in a river, like in the Iowa River or Mississippi River, one of the rivers, we were out boating, lost my phone. And so I went and got a new phone. Then someone found my phone in the mud in the river because it was ringing and it was still working. So now I have 2 phones that I'm paying for, but we'll get into that at a later date. So much debt, so many bills, stupid. At this point, February comes along. Charlotte's birthday comes up. Again, the drama starts with his ex. And at this point, I have realized I cannot subject Charlotte to this kind of life for the next 18 years of her life. So I kind of checked out at that point in time, and he kind of did too. I think we both saw it coming that this relationship was affecting way too much in both of our lives to continue doing it. So in February, I kind of flipped a switch. I started focusing primarily on my business, and I wasn't spending any money on anything extra, but I was still in the relationship, so I was kind of still dealing with that stress on the side. So around the beginning of March comes, I'm really working on my business. Things are getting really good. And bam, coronavirus starts. So all of my business is done through Amazon. Amazon's doing this thing right now where they're not accepting inventory for anything that isn't medical supplies or something super important. And nothing I sell is super important. I sell like scientific animal specimens. So Like, my business is closed. And financial stress is just pounding on me. The stress of the relationship is getting really bad. His ex starts up the drama again, and at that point, things ended, which was about 4 days ago. And I was like, could my life get any more stressful right now? I have the coronavirus, so my business is completely shut down. I am, no joke, $60,000 in debt. I am now a single mom again. And this entire last year has pretty much just been me sleeping and crying and hating life and wondering why I got into the relationship that I did, even though I absolutely loved the guy. I loved his girls, but the baggage that he had was too much for me to carry. So now here I am, a year later, feeling like I've completely wasted the last year of my life, wondering how the heck I'm going to start over. I'm starting over at a worse point than I was a year ago, when things were actually pretty decent for me. And I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad at the situation that I am in right now. I'm mad at coronavirus for like messing everything up for me even more. I'm single, I'm broke, I'm temporarily jobless, and I am exhausted. And I finally was like, you know what? Time to make a video, because this is close to my rock bottom. I'm sure it's not my rock bottom yet, because I'm not going to be able to pay my bills over the next couple months without my Amazon business. I'm trying. I'm selling like everything I can on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and Etsy and anything I can do. I'm taking freelance writing articles. It's just none of those sustain me like my Amazon business did. And I have like $4,000 a month in bills, which is insane and way too much for me to be able to afford. So I'm at this place of like, I'm not rock bottom, but I'm super close to rock bottom. I'm probably going to be evicted soon. Also, this ring is so I will never date again. Because like now I am married to myself. I'm not putting Charlotte and I in that stress anymore. Oh, I am like, I'm breaking. My anxiety for about 2 weeks was like, literally I would wake up, my heart would start racing, and it wouldn't stop racing until I went to bed at night. It took everything in me just to like breathe and get through the day. And there's my kid, who seriously makes all of this so much better. Like, I could not do this life without her. She is what keeps me going. Honestly, she is what keeps me driving to be better. And this last year, I tried really hard. I tried really, really hard to give her a life that I thought she deserved, which I thought was a father figure around who treated her really well. I really, really wanted that for her. And now I realize that that is not as important as her mom being stable. Also, she's sitting on the couch right now where I have my phone, so that's when my phone's off. Your bunny? Cool. So even though this is not quite rock bottom yet, and rock bottom is coming, I actually feel okay. Like, I feel like the toxicity in my life is going away. I feel like I'm getting better. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that I can absolutely adore someone, but if they have baggage that puts a weight on my shoulders, I can't really afford to carry it right now. I have a kid I'm carrying. I have a business I'm carrying. I have myself I'm carrying. And at this point in my life, I really just need to focus on those things. This last year was really hard and trying, but it was a huge lesson for me. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to move forward. And I'm going to get back on this YouTube channel, and you guys are going to watch me probably fall down the hole even further over the next couple months. But after that, I swear on everything in me, I'm going to pull Charlotte and I out of this, and we are going to have an amazing life. This time there really will be a next one.